I can't help it, I just seem to see the world different. It ain't Republicans or labor rules, it's mental illness. The internet is only interested in left opinions. Cancel culture's got more power lately than the First Amendment. If you don't like it, leave. We will not defund police. We don't want no riots in our neighborhoods or in the streets. We respect freedom of speech. We protect what we believe. We don't want nobody dead, so please do not tread on me. In America, the freedom ain't free. In America, got soldiers dying overseas. So America, you say what we believe. My America, I won't ever take a knee. Our freedom is the reason you can disrespect our flag. If my stars and stripes offend you, then I'll help you pack your bags.
Good evening, America! How y'all doing, baby? This is your friendly neighborhood Bearded Weirdo coming at you loud and proud as I always do. And with this magnificence upon my face. How you guys doing? And sitting to my left, he is my pastor, my best friend. He is my compadre. He is the one, the only, the Pastor Gary Podosek. And then behind the digital curtain over there, the man who pushes all our buttons oh so well, he is our good friend, our best friend, our, our helper of shenanigans. He is Steve Cattell. How are you guys doing on this July 2nd?
Very good day.
Very
good day.
Good.
Probably won't see any of you guys, so happy Independence Day.
Yes, correct. Happy
Yes.
Independence Day.
Yes, happy we kicked the British's butt and sent them home day.
That's right.
And screw your queen.
That's correct.
Even the one you have now. Yes, I do mean that.
It's a dude.
No, it's a queen.
We are
Oh, man. How y'all doing? Hey, guys, before we get started on what's going on in this episode, I need you to click all the buttons. I need you to click the likes, the shares, the follows. I need you to do it all over on Rumble, over on YouTube, on your wherever you're catching this audio. I need you to click all that and help us keep it growing. All right. We much prefer Rumble because, well, YouTube, you suck, and eventually we won't need you anymore anyway. But we're here anyway. For those of you who don't know about Rumble, it's much better, especially now.
yes, because you're not censored.
Yeah, you're not censored. The First Amendment actually means something over there. And, they let you say whatever the heck you want to say. And, let the consumer be the judge of what is real and right and with their own brains instead of the government telling you what can and cannot be done. So please do all that. Secondly, I want to say that originally we had planned to be talking about the education system, how bad it is, how quickly we need to get our kids out of it. We need to find ulterior ways of educating our children. But unless you've been living under a rock, then June 27th happened. And the
You can't even say it. And that's the thing. Like, all right, so why did we?
As a butcher,
Steve is actually a butcher.
Slaughter.
Look. When
that elephant got slaughtered, man.
when we did the schedule and we set things up,
Wait,
we
which
knew.
one is the elephant? Which one's the donkey? Are we the donkey or they? No,
We're the elephant.
We're the elephant. That donkey got slaughtered.
So when we wrote up the shows and everything, we were planning out the schedule and stuff. We we knew the debate was coming, but when you knew things like only on CNN, host CNN, the debate moderator, CNN host, right? And then you also know there's no audience. It's like, obviously this thing's going to be just
have these crazy
front-loaded rules of mics being turned off, all this stuff. So it's kind of like we were prepared for literally like a snooze fest.
And I didn't even watch it when it happened. I was playing video games. I'm not even going to lie. I watched it afterwards. After it was all done, I could skip through commercials.
Well, me and you were on the phone for half of it. Like we were.
No, I didn't watch it until later.
That's what I'm saying. But me and you were while it was going on.
We were on the phone for
half of it at least.
That night I had leadership training for the church. Then we were playing video games. I wasn't paying attention to it. I knew I was going to watch it the next day.
Same.
And then I had friends who know that I do this podcast, okay? I had friends who aren't really political. They have their views, whatever, texting me nonstop after it was done. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to check this out now. So I actually stayed up late and watched it, and then I watched Blaze Media's post coverage, their post debate coverage, and I then learned another person we follow that we like, Steven Crowder.
I watched it on Crowder.
Nobody saw that because it's on the other side.
I know, I did it on purpose.
Steven Crowder.
I don't want to get sued.
All I have to say is, thank God I did not try to play Steven Crowder's drinking game, because every debate he does a drinking game.
Oh my
I
gosh!
would have been wasted 15 minutes in, and
It was
gone.
bad. Yeah, it was bad. And now, mind you, I watched it that way first, but then I ended up watching it on its natural, just CNN broadcast afterwards, because there were things that I missed
Because they were talking.
because they're laughing and joking
Bad.
and laughing about it and stuff. And not that that's bad or anything. It just that's their media. But I wanted to hear some of the things that I missed, and when I realized some of the things I missed were worse, I'm like, oh my gosh, had they heard that part? The slaughter would have been.
There is no in the history of entertainment. Period. I'm talking all the way back to ancient Rome. In the history of entertainment, there has not been something that if you would have told me it was straight satire with comedians, I could have believed you, because there's no way that it should have been that bad.
Yeah.
Okay?
Again, go back to what I said. Everything set up the way it was set up.
If Statler and Waldorf were in the audience, they wouldn't have said anything, because the heckling was
There was no, yeah.
It was there. Like, they would have just walked out, because there had been no point in heckling. Okay, that's how bad it was. Okay,
I thought we were old.
No, they'd have been like, screw this crap, and left. But
as we stated, The Simpsons had it right. He's already dead. Stop it.
all right, so if you happen to be under a rock, okay, because they did say that if you take into consideration CNN and all the people who partnered, like Blaze partnered so you could watch it with them, Rumble did a thing so you could watch. If you partner every outlet that had the ability to show the CNN feed, because that's all it was CNN. If you partner all that together, they say that the viewership was roughly about 70-some million. Okay, which is quite a lot. Usually debates are between 80 and 100 million.
But also remember, they were the only
one.
broadcaster of
and
the
mind
debate.
you,
Yeah, which surprised me
no,
a lot.
it's because they got out of they got. There's usually when it comes to debates, there's a specific group that runs the debates. They come up with the rules. They come up with, okay, this time Fox is going to do it. This time MSNBC is going to do it. They choose the moderators. They help pick the questions. This was outside of that organization from the door. CNN took it over. They came up with rules, which at first I'm going, these are stupid rules. Till I watched it, I'm like, these rules are actually great, and I thought they were going to hinder Trump. In reality, I mean, well, okay, to quote somebody that I heard say this today, actually they said it yesterday, but I watched it today, they don't know whether or not Trump looked more presidential on that stage, or it was that Biden looked so bad that it made Trump look more presidential up on there. Either way, the rules catered to Trump great, because, you only have a minute to talk. You only have this long for a rebuttal. When you hit your length of time, we mute you. When you're not talking, when it's not your turn to talk, we mute you. Trump had to stay in a box. Okay, he had to stay in boundaries. And those of us who are believers in Christ know that boundaries give you more freedom, and boundaries give you more power. And staying within your spot where God wants you, you have more success when you don't get out of those boundaries. And believe it or not, whether you want to say Trump is a Christian or not, that biblical principle worked really well with Trump, and I don't think CNN expected that.
Well, go ahead.
And their questions was surprisingly decent. Now, for somebody
I was
who
gonna
does
say
not
that, yep.
who does
I mean,
not
they gave-
watch politics like that,
They did give Biden a couple lobs, but
Yeah,
he was so
but-
bad that he screwed them up.
but it wasn't just a lob. Like, they were still like questions that had to be answered.
Yeah.
And both sides had to answer respectively.
Trump handled the January 6th question perfectly. Really, Trump handled everything really, really good.
Yeah, I think there was one question that I think they asked that. I think there was one question that was asked during the whole debate that neither candidate really answered, and not that it was a bad question. I just think because of where things were in the debate and because of the way the moderators were kind of shortening the time period for rebuttals,
which I liked actually. I liked that they weren't rambling off.
It did do that, but at the same time, I think the counter side of that was because they did that and trying to keep the debate, I think, in the 90-minute window was the reason why they did it. But the whole aspect of that made like sometimes the next question become an extended rebuttal to the previous question.
Yeah, and you have to because that was the thing that I noticed too was I haven't watched that many debates and I don't remember that what I've seen where they were just nonstop having to no, this guy lied. No, this guy lied. No, this guy's lying. No, this guy's lying.
Hey, you want to know who lied? All the whole time, Biden, especially when he said that. Oh yeah, our border patrol loves me.
The Border Patrol tweeted or X'd or whatever immediately upon after that was stated. We do not support and never will support Biden. So it's like, but here's the thing. All right. So let's talk about real quick. So, because again, let's assume that maybe some people who are watching did not catch a debate. Go back, watch it, recommend it. It's entertainment at its best.
It's not like past debates where like it seems like they're always fighting over each other.
Yeah, there's no real arguing.
There's no arguing. There really is no. In the way that they have it set it up, it keeps the entertainment, the quote unquote entertainment, because during the Republican debates for the candidacy, it ended up being like entertainment. That arguing back and forth. There was none of that. Yeah.
All for second place.
The entertainment value entertainment / horror story comes from Biden.
So
where the cocktail did not work, 15 minutes in, the man is gone.
Well, so there was something that actually this was. I forget where I heard this, but I heard this, and this was a really interesting point. They were talking to a lot of the people who are like Biden's aides, Biden's helpers, things like that, along with obviously, very sadistic woman Joe Biden. But they talked about like Joe's time periods as far as where he's at during the day or whatever. Let's be clear, if you want to talk about the difference between two human beings and their time in presidency, I don't think Trump slept the entire 4 years of his presidency.
No,
I really don't think he ever slept.
2:00 in the morning he was tweeting.
So I don't think the man ever actually
he was on the toilet tweeting.
Like, it's amazing to me
or
how
Xing,
well, it was Twitter at the time.
Yeah, it was Twitter at the time.
But I don't know if Trump actually slept at all, but like he somehow has this complete energy level that is out of control.
And you could see it from the point where they walked in.
But hold on, wait. But before you get to that, but Biden, right? They talk about his regiment and his time frames.
10 to 4.
10 to 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Biden turns into a pumpkin. He's done. The debate started at 9 p.m.
Yeah, he's done.
You're already 5 hours past the time frame that you should, like, he's in bed now. So whatever they had him on, which, let's be clear, we know they absolutely had him.
The cocktail did not work, but they've been giving it to him so much.
Well, they had him on uppers and all kinds of stuff, but you see the first person to walk out on stage is Joe Biden, and he walks, and it's a bad walk.
Yeah.
He's just very short strides, trying to make sure he doesn't trip over something. Trump walks out,
big stride.
Very nice, comfortable strides.
You can see that Trump is 80 years old, and he's got kind of
he's got a little bit of a hump in the back.
But the man's walking with a full stride.
He's not quite 80 yet, but to be clear.
But he's almost. Yeah. But he's walking with a full stride.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, how you doing? And he's walking out all cool.
Comes up.
Like.
But if you put the whole thing on mute.
You know what I did notice?
What?
And it was great to see for once. They didn't mess with the color of the screen and make him look orange.
Yeah, that's true too. So I will say this. I will say this though. If you were to put the whole thing on mute and just watch the two candidates' physical appearance of the candidates, Biden looks very old, like extremely old, right? But his mouth was agape.
His eyes were closed.
the whole time. He looked like he didn't know where he was half of the time.
Well, he was always looking to the left.
And,
I don't know what he was looking for, but he was always looking to the left.
He's looking to the hand signaler. They probably have him on. I don't know.
No. Commentators actually said it. They said it looked like he was looking for the teleprompter that wasn't there, and he kept looking down at notes that weren't there.
So it's one of the things where if you just watch
all the questions, Joe.
So he turns around and he has visuals that look just very weak. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
He looks frail. He looks weak. All right, if you are the commander of the free world and you look weak, every country watching that debate saw our president looks weak, disheveled, tired, unable to do his job. You then make every single country we're aligned with become very concerned about our well-being, because though our troops are going to fight for other nations and do the things that we do as America.
Well, we shouldn't be, but that's
I'm not going to get into that. But when you're waiting for that command to come from the guy who's still watching Matlock and half asleep, it's a problem. I mean
Matlock,
that. It's literally a problem.
I think he thinks he's still in Matlock.
So just the optics alone of Biden versus Trump.
Well, see, that's
100% Trump. There's no case for Biden at all.
Now, I mean, you had side conversation about this as well. I told you the same thing, Steve. I said I don't have physical worries. I don't have spiritual worries. I don't have mental worries with this whole thing. I do, however, have concerns politically after this debate, and I have two concerns. Number one, like
he dies.
You said, No. Number one,
he's already dead.
Well, yeah. Weekend at Biden's. That is the title.
Disney animatronics at their worst.
So, oh God.
Zombie.
He's the first skinwalker.
My first concern is what you just said. Our enemies now saw that.
Yeah.
They know that Trump is running.
Yep.
All of our enemies know that during the time of Trump,
they're done.
They didn't do anything during Trump's presidency. They couldn't do it. They were afraid to do anything.
To be clear, when Trump said on day one he will have the war in Ukraine wrapped up and done instantly,
it will be.
It will be. And it's not because of anything he will do. It's because literally he'll pick up the phone, he'll call Vladimir Putin, and he'll go, "You're done." And then he'll call Zelensky and he'll say, "You're done."
And you're not getting
any more money, and you're going to concede this much to them, and you're going to be happy.
Yeah.
Rebuild your country. We'll help you do it. You're done.
So my concern is that let's just go with Trump wins. After today, or after June 27th, I don't know how any person with a brain could vote for Biden. I'm sorry.
There's still 72% of the people that
don't want Biden.
No, 72% of the people
that don't want to vote for Trump.
72% of people polled that are Democrats. Just Democrats. 72% of Democrats are very concerned that Biden will lose
before the debate.
And they want him replaced. So what does that mean? That means, generally speaking, they may go and still vote for him, but there's a high percentage of people that probably won't, because they're waiting for another candidate.
Before the debate happened, there was a poll that came out, poll that came out that stated 72% of Americans do not want to have to vote for Trump. Just 72% of Americans, period, don't want to have to vote for Trump. Okay? Even people that I know, I'm one of them. I don't really want to have to vote for Trump.
Yeah, let's be clear. I don't like the two old guys in office.
After this, I'm like,
I would like some younger people.
Let's just say, let's say Trump wins. We have from now
until January
21st.
From November to January 21st.
Well, I'm just going to say from now. Okay, even if he wins in November. Okay, from now until January 21st, we have what y'all saw on stage from Biden still running our country.
Yep.
Okay, and our enemies know that the man who has real power is going to be coming back. So
better make your moves fast and now before time's up.
Here's something y'all may not know. Did y'all know that the EU, all of our embassies within the EU, after Thursday, put their threat level one step below we're at war?
Oh, also, do you not know that Kim Jong-un from Korea funded troops to Russia?
Yep.
That's called a three-part alliance between Russia, China, and North Korea.
Well, that's no bueno.
I don't know if you're aware, but last time 3 countries in that same region decided to work together.
We had a world war.
We had a world war.
And this is all happening because our commander-in-chief...
Not trying to... now, mind you, this is things that I don't like that like certain people talk about, on certain other Republican networks. They fearmonger with war chat and stuff. I don't like talking about it because it's a bad thing. It's a very bad thing if that happens.
If what he's alluding to possibly happens, because it's always a possibility.
It is.
If it possibly happens, it only happens because of our weak president.
Because
they know that they have no fear.
And
the other concern I have is that now that's looking at it from the global perspective. The other political concern I have is, again, in America. Trump wins in November. We still have Biden in charge doing executive orders and other things until January 21st. Our economy is as bad as it is now. How much worse do you think that inept grandpa who deserves to be spending the final days of his golden years with his grandkids at home, enjoying the end of his life, not
in a retirement home?
Yeah.
Is the retirement home very large and white building?
Right now it is, yes. And it has a lot of staff and
a lot of medical staff.
So my thing is that he should be love
taxpayer
Biden,
dollars.
love Biden, hate Biden, agree with him, disagree with him, whatever. My big thing that I can't stand about it, yes, I don't want somebody that old running our country. But in his current state, the man should be at home enjoying his final days of life with his grandkids surrounding him and his family. Just don't bring your babies
he said
around
days.
Him.
It's probably accurate.
Look. And I'm going to allude to a question that you said earlier. Well, okay, Biden looked as bad. Well, then what will the Democrats do? Because this is something Steve asked me before. Because there's a split. Right. There's a civil war in the Democrats right now. You have people like Obama and Clinton coming out over the weekend saying we need to back Joe Biden. Everybody needs to back Joe Biden. But then you have the New York Times, CNN, MSNBC.
I got a point to say about this.
You've got the witch sisters in the View that are all saying Biden needs to be gone.
Listen, this is where I get concerned. So we have a debate that happened. We have a performance by Joe Biden, which I want to recap some more real quick. Hold on. A performance by Joe Biden. Trump actually, and this is the scary part, if you didn't watch the debate, but you watched all the reporting in the news after the debate, you would think Trump, what happened? Did Trump not show up? Because the media is not talking about Donald Trump at all. And their number one favorite person to talk about
for the last 6 years
is Donald Trump. So if Donald Trump is not even being mentioned at all in any news affiliate whatsoever, there's a problem, right? So this is where I get concerned, because all of the mainstream media, all of the Democrat biased news media organizations that gave us I mean, we've talked about it. We played the video. No, not that. I'm talking about the every network, every state, every place saying the exact same thing.
Before.
When that's happening, my head is on a swivel.
Yep.
Because that means something's in the water. The torpedo's out, it's in the water. But what is it going to destroy? Remember, COVID. Look at all the junk that did. Okay, the destruction. That was a media weaponized
the fake,
garbage.
The fake, non-existent
right?
tourist tour.
January 6th.
The tourist tour.
Right, January 6th. The creation of all the different deaths and the people who were killed and all the people that got shot and all this stuff.
When only one person
got shot, and it was an innocent bystander.
No, it wasn't. She was climbing through a window. She was
already in the building. Somebody else was climbing through the window. She was
in the building, but she was trying to come in the window of a door to come into the room. That they shot her.
Right.
Okay.
So Ashley
Babbitt, now granted, all right, she shouldn't have been climbing through the door, but she had no weapon, so there was no
reason for anybody to be shot
there was no
by
reason
security.
There was no reason for that level of force.
But all of the time the media has been doing this, right? We come back now to the debate and we go, all right.
And the pipe bomb that you couldn't find.
Right. Joe Biden, terrible performance, walks out, and about 15 minutes into the debate, he freezes up. Can't finish the sentence except for and we're beating Medicaid or Medicare. And we beat Medicare. And Trump literally goes, yeah, you beat it to death. Right? And it was what is he supposed to say?
Yeah.
He literally stopped, lost train of thought, froze for a long time in dead air, stuttered through, and closed out with, and we beat Medicare. So, like, clearly that lost him.
Did you hear their excuse for why he was like that? They were tweeting it while
he over-prepared.
No, that's not what they said.
That's what they said.
No, they said he had a cold.
Oh, no. That was the reason for his voice being all raspy and all like, it seemed like it was like, that whole thing, and the thing was because he had a cold. But they said the reason why he couldn't remember where he was and stuff, he over-prepared.
He spent
He's the
only president that I've ever heard of taking 7 days to go to Camp David to prepare for a debate with 16 advisors, one of which his son. That's a great mix.
Well, that just means crack was in the debate.
and now, post-debate, they're talking about how now all of a sudden Biden has started, well, over the last few months, not just so much, but more so now, he's been bringing Hunter Biden to cabinet meetings because he's who Biden trusts.
Well, we already know that's because he's got a pickup location in one of the lockers. That's why.
Can't let that be left behind.
But so in that moment when Biden froze, stuttered, and we beat Medicare or whatever, that was the fatality.
Well, actually, that was later on.
No. That was not later.
That wasn't in the first 15 minutes.
It was early. Yes, it was.
The first 15 minutes, he had a stutter point before that. That was I saw it.
It
right
was
then
no.
and
There
was a point before that.
You're thinking of the second one.
No, I'm thinking of the first one. The first one wasn't Medicare.
Yeah.
No, the first one was when he couldn't finish the sentence and Trump said,
"No,
I don't know."
No, that was later. That was way later.
Mm-hmm.
No, the first
that was
one
the
was
other. That was the part where we say to Trump, "Stop! He's already dead." Because the first one was the we beat Medicare.
Yeah, that was
he froze, and then he stammered because he saw the light, and because remember they talked about how the lights on the camera are going to blink red, and then that's when you're off. He knew that his time was running up. Thankfully, he knew that much. And the last thing he could say out of his sentence was, "We beat Medicare." That was so bad.
Still not the first one. There was one before that, and it's when I knew it was starting to go down. From
that was critically the fatality of Joe Biden's candidacy. He was done. He was completely done. He was completely. I mean, according to everybody who any Republican would look at Biden from day one and go, he has no shot. Like he shouldn't have. Well, let's be clear. He didn't have a shot anyway.
No.
Like, because this is not the most popular president in modern American history.
It's not.
There's no way that guy is more popular than Obama, Trump, anybody. No way. I'm sorry. He wasn't. Shenanigans. We call shenanigans, okay? I'm calling shenanigans. Hey, and I'm not going to pistol whip any of you for saying shenanigans anymore, okay? So let's be clear. There were shenanigans. We know that he's not the most popular. Nobody likes Joe Biden. But here we are now. He shows up. He debates very poorly. He doesn't answer questions. He stumbles over words. He has literally no comprehensive thoughts of what is going on during this time. He talks about golf that nobody brought up. He baits Trump into a challenge which is stupid because again, you lift up your own bags. You can't lift up the golf ball, Joe. So why are we going to get into this push-up match that he always seems to want to be a tough guy about?
And believe me, Biden had one thing that he could have said the entire night. If he was in the right mind, let's just be honest. He had ammo that he could say from the door in that debate. All he has to say is it doesn't matter what he says, he's a criminal. He could have pushed that point all night long.
He did push it once.
He pushed it once at the end.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If the role was reversed, because we already know he did it because Trump did it with Hillary.
Yeah.
Okay, calling her crooked Hillary and all this stuff.
Lock her
up. In the middle of debates with her. Just kept shouting it out.
Yeah.
We know Trump would have done it had the roles been reversed in that. Okay? But Biden, that's his one thing he could have
picked on his son, though.
Yes, he did.
So, you're right. He could have went that route.
And don't get me wrong.
But he wasn't there.
And he just kept saying, "Oh, he's a liar. He's a liar. He's just lying. He's lying."
Yeah,
and Trump didn't even have and don't get me wrong. The one time that Trump goes, I don't know what he said, and I don't know what he said.
And I don't really think he really knows what he said.
Don't get me wrong. He could have said that after every time Biden spoke.
True.
And it would have been true. But I'm glad he waited, just said it once, because it hits more if you only say it once. You repeat something like that.
It becomes Trump the bully.
But, yeah. So, again, like I said, I don't know whether or not Trump looked more presidential on that stage, period, or because of Biden looking as bad as he did.
Well,
he
so,
looked more presidential.
But so this is the thing, though. Going back to what I was saying before. So after Biden's terrible performance, the media machine immediately, every single person. We're talking
that's
Van
horrible.
Jones. We're talking what's the guy with the silver hair on CNN?
Tapper.
Not Tapper. He was the one moderating.
Oh, fake Tapper?
No, I don't.
Well, they call him fake Tapper.
Is that really what they call him? Fake Tapper?
The other guy you're talking about, they call him fake Tapper.
I can't remember his name.
Or let me rephrase that. Other people who do podcasts,
But you
call
had
him fake Tapper.
You had Van Jones.
You had what's his face that used to be at Fox that's now over on CNN.
Correct.
He was
really eating it. You're talking about, yeah, I know who you guy. The guy who did the moderation for it the one time. You had him. You had all of
the View.
Literally all the View. You had all the CNN hosts. You had all these people talking about how they need to replace Biden. All right.
Now,
immediately.
And New York Times has written articles on it.
All of the
Axios
left-wing
has
medias.
written-
Yep, Axios.
They've all done it. They're all bashing it. And then you get Obama and Clinton. Bill, not Hillary.
And VP Kamala
And
Hackle Harris.
Kamala Harris. And you get, Little Miss Tequila or Vodka, Little Miss Vodka. Over there in the Senate. They're all saying, "Oh no, we got to back Trump. We got to back Biden."
Are you talking about Pelosi?
Pelosi, yeah,
yeah. So, not just that. You had Fetterman. You had a lot of Democrat. You had a lot of
Did
Democrat.
Fetterman actually do it?
Yeah, Fetterman did.
Because Fetterman's been leaning really conservative.
Fetterman did because he basically said, "Look," he said, I had issues like that. I was having a lot of issues, but you know what? If you just
there's a difference. One's dimension.
Hold on,
one's a stroke.
I know. Yeah, one right.
You come back from one. You don't come back from the other.
Correct. But here's the thing: all of the Democrat Party establishment, right?
The cronies, and
the people who are
operatives.
the people who we pay for, right, are the ones going, "He's fine, nothing wrong, everything's good." They're trying to stand on it and stay this united front for the Democrat Party, right? But all of the media, all of the people. Now, this is where I get concerned, right? This is where my brain goes, because the media have bailed on this, right?
Pretty much.
And
for
the
now,
media,
they may change that later.
And the media is the mainstream media, I should say. The mainstream media is the arm of the Democrat Party.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even
Fox. Though Pelosi and all them will save face and say on TV, Biden's our guy. We trust him. He tells the truth. All this stuff. They'll lie right to your face. Bold-faced lies right to your face. They don't believe it. They really don't. But they're going to do that.
No,
all the while,
might, but that's just 'cause she was drinking
all
too
the
much.
while, the hand of the Democrat Party is going to still go do what it wants to do.
So that leads up to my question of the day is, if I'm playing devil's advocate, because I'm
already ahead.
I'm
I'm
already
centrist.
ahead of you as well.
I'm centrist, more leaning conservative.
You lean conservative, but you're moderate.
Yeah,
I'm moderate.
You're Elon Musk without the brain or the money.
What?
Yeah, but all the autism,
All of it, every bit of it.
I wasn't gonna go there.
I'm sorry. He's my best friend. He's my best friend. I'm allowed to pick on him a little bit.
I got my own butt, guys.
Did you wear your helmet?
I did.
Did the window taste good? It was soft. Did the window taste good?
It's off helmet.
Did the window taste good?
Pretty.
Tastes pretty. Go ahead.
So, if I'm a Democrat and I want the Democrats to win, we know we can't win with Joe Biden.
Right.
What should they do, and what are they going to do?
All right. So let's talk about what can they do first, because should is not really going to
They're
matter.
limited with what they can do.
So first thing here is you understand is that because he's incumbent, because he's still technically the running candidate for the Democrat Party, right? RFK is a Democrat running as an independent because the Democrat Party did not back him.
No, he's legit left the Democratic Party.
Okay, well, either way, he's still running as an independent. He's RFK, and honestly, one of the best quotes I heard was out of Crowder. I think it was actually Nick DiPaolo said it. He said because of how bad Biden sounded, he's like, for Pete's sake, he's like, he's making RFK sound like Pavarotti.
Yeah, that's Nick DiPaolo.
Oh my gosh, man, it was hysterical. So, but anyway, what they can do, only thing they can do, is they can try to talk all of the major donors of the Democrat Party into pulling their funding from Joe Biden.
That's not all they can do.
No, it is technically all they can do.
No,
because
they can do, first thing they can do
Unless
is
he drops
25th.
himself.
he
first
has
thing
to.
they can do is 25th
No. Well, hold on. I'm going to tell you right now. There's no way, as I already told you, all of the Democrats in the Senate, in the House, all of the party politicians are not going to back off of him. Every single one of them are going to show their support for Biden.
But
They're
with
all
what
going to
Chip
sit
Roy
there.
hit- but with what
But that's
Chip
a
Roy-
Republican. Yes, you're getting to my point. Pause. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it.
So much there.
Yeah, I know where you're at. I know where you're going. I understand. Just hold. Hold. What the Democrats can do, because they don't want to institute the 25th Amendment because that makes them look very bad. They will let the Republicans do it
No,
because
'cause
they
even
want
they
them to
hate
look-
Kamala.
Right. Hold on. They also don't want Kamala, but they'll let the Republicans do it because it makes the Republicans look divisive, and they
Actually,
want
it
to
doesn't.
continue to keep that divisiveness running.
It hurts the Democrats more than
It
it hurts
does,
the
but
Republicans.
it does. But I'm just saying this is where because they're not going to get the supermajority anyway.
No,
so that's
but
why
what
I'm
it-
saying.
But what it brings is it brings forth a debate, and now they have to debate their
but
stance
they're,
on Biden.
but they're
in
not going to still get a supermajority. We
No,
don't
but
have
now
enough people.
everybody gets put on record for
They're-
it actually decimates the Democrat
It
Party
won't matter.
by doing that. Yes, it will, because they've
already showed their
they'll
support.
They'll get another 16 to 20 years where they can't get a Democrat in office because of how
All right,
badly
all right,
they're
wait,
doing.
you're- stop.
handling
See,
it.
I told you stop. Stop. You stop. You're taking away from where I was going first.
Mute your mic.
Thank you. Mute it. You do that.
You'll still hear me on his.
I know
We're
that's a
close enough.
problem. So anyway, so when this is not going to be
Still hear me on his.
But
no,
it won't
put it
be
back.
as prominent.
Put it back on. Put it back on. So anyway, so pulling funding is the only real thing the Democrats can do to still keep face and still keep underhandedly doing what they do behind closed doors. Because the only real way for him to actually the only way for them to replace him is for him to willingly step down, which he will not. He's already said he will not. Joe Biden has told him he's not stepping down because he's a good boy and he finished his ice cream. So she's a doctor and she knows everything. So just remember that. So now you can't tell her she's wrong. So anyway,
I can.
I'm joking and I'm being facetious and you know that. So anyway, the only real way they can do something about it is to pull the donor funding away from Biden. If the money dries up, the funding drops. You cannot continue to run your
Until-
campaign effectively. You have to meet a certain quota of campaign finances in order to continue to maintain status as the running candidate. He's still the president. He doesn't have to step down from being president. He just won't be able to run as the actual Democratic Party candidate. To which then they prop up somebody they want. All the donors back them. They become the person that at the DNC they put up as the actual candidate for the Democrat Party that Biden would be running against. And then it would become a two ticket on. It would become a two ticket on the
Technically
Democrat spot.
Technically speaking,
That is what they can do. That is the technically only thing the Democrat machine, can do if Biden doesn't want to step in, which he
Technically
doesn't.
speaking, even though Biden is running as the candidate for the Democrat, until the DNC convention, it's not finalized. That's number one.
And that's not until
It's next month.
Next month, yeah.
They have a month. Okay.
But it's
And
not
they don't
likely.
Even need to they don't even need to do what Gary is
No,
here
they
saying.
do technically because there's no way they're going to get a candidate that has the funding and the campaign
No,
finances
here's
to
the
beat.
thing. All they have to do is the DNC. All they have to do is get all this. All they have to get is the super PACs. Because remember, in the DNC super PACs rule. In the RNC super PACs don't. Okay, but in the DNC super PACs rules, because each side gets to do their own rules when it comes to their convention. I think it's the stupidest thing ever, but whatever. And actually, this will end up hurting the DNC because of their stupid rules. They could go into the convention and they can just go, nope, gone. And they can force a vote. They can force a straw vote right then and there at DNC and put somebody else in.
But the campaign financing issue still becomes
I understand
the
that
problem.
there's still a campaign financing issue. The problem is that the money that Joe already has, it's his. They can stop giving him any more.
Right, that's
but
the first part.
The money he has now is locked. It's his. They can't take it from him. Joe can't, even if he did step down, it's not like he can take the money and go, all right, I'm giving it all to this candidate.
Yeah. All the trillionaires in the United States are going to have to give a lot of money to Joe Biden in order to keep him up.
They
won't.
they
all zero of the trillionaires. Again, another thing Joe Biden said during the debate: all the trillionaires, there are none.
They said 1,000 billionaires, and I'm like, where?
the trillionaires. There's zero trillionaires. No one human being on the planet has a amount of worth of $1 trillion.
Elon Musk got a lot of money. Bill Gates got a lot of money.
Not a
They
trillion.
ain't got a trillion.
Yeah. So to be clear, there are zero trillionaires.
But then he switched it to thousand
He said no.
billionaires.
He said billionaires, and then had to change. He stuttered through millionaires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He tried to say 1,000 billionaires. There aren't 1,000 billionaires.
there's not.
Maybe
Yeah.
1,000 millionaires, because a million isn't the same as
not
what
hard.
it was 15 years ago.
But again, all that to say though, the second aspect that you said already is that the 25th Amendment gets invoked. All right, what happens there? If the 25th Amendment gets invoked, he's not fit to serve. He's not fit to continue to run the country, which they are going to start doing now. It's already been put into motion by Chip Roy.
Chip Roy's already doing it.
So anyway, that's fine.
He's put in the paperwork to get it
put
put
on the floor. So, and it probably will go on the floor because, they need something to talk about.
Here's the problem. He did that, and now you get people with smooth brains and R's next to their name.
Oh yeah,
that are trying to say that this is the worst thing
ever. Yeah, you're setting up a bad precedent.
Actually, no, this is the right thing to do.
It is the right
I'm
thing
sorry.
to do.
What
the Democrats should be on board with this.
Even though I absolutely disagree with Joe Biden, and I may dislike Joe Biden, what is being done to him is abuse. He needs to be home.
Yeah.
Okay. So for the sake of, we're abusing this man. Well, Jill is abusing this man.
Truth.
One, she needs to go to jail for it, and two, he needs to be just go home, Joe.
Yeah,
like you
go rest.
Look, whether I like you, love you, hate you, you've been working for our government X amount of time. You've
too
done
long.
Too long, but you've done all you can do. It's time to go home, Pony Boy.
Yeah,
like seriously, dude, just go home, spend time with your grandkids, enjoy the rest of your days that you have with your grandkids, eating your ice cream, whatever. Have fun, okay. The 25th, the beauty of what this whole 25th Amendment, and it's kind of why it'll never happen.
Please explain the 25th Amendment,
The 25th
because Steve
Amendment,
is reading it right now on his phone.
The 25th Amendment is where you are basically deemed mentally or physically unfit to be to do your duties as the president.
Correct.
Okay. We have not.
Which you have to have evidentiary. You have to have evidentiary proof to put in.
We have it. It's on CNN.
Right. You need to be able to prove that there's reason.
So anyway,
you can't just throw it up.
The vice president then becomes. It takes the position.
Well, now hold on. You skipped a lot of stuff.
He's got to be taken down. The way that if the vice president calls for it,
there you go.
Then it's done more quickly. We're doing it the harder way because obviously Democrats don't want to admit fault or admit they're wrong. So we got to do it the long way, which now by Chip Roy putting it on the floor, now they have to have open debate about it. So now Democrats have to, on television, because if you didn't realize it, they record everything that happens in that room. They now have to debate why, number one, either that they never knew that Biden was like this and he's perfectly fine and okay, or that they knew but still put him up there. Either way makes the Democrats look bad.
Look really bad.
Now, they probably won't remove him, but let's just say they did. Because then this brings up another problem.
2/3 majority of.
Yeah.
2/3 majority of the Senate.
Because
it'll go through the House, and then it goes to the Senate, and it needs a 2/3 majority in the Senate.
No, but let's just say it does. Let's just, for the sake of argument, because this is where it gets interesting. If Kamala went, now she takes vice president.
Kamala would be Kamala would be president. He would be I don't even know if he would still be vice president.
He's gone. They actually have to she has to give people that she wants to be vice president, and the Senate has to vote on who takes the place of vice president. Yeah. But anyway, there's really no point in doing that. Well, she'd have to name a vice president at least for running, because she automatically would.
We already know it would be Hakeem Jeffries.
But anyway, for her to run, because obviously if she took the vice presidency, you're not picking somebody else to be the DNC, because now you're just bashing a woman of color and all this. It would really look bad to the Democrats. In order for her to make any ground at this stage, they'd have to make it the most racist, most divisive, most anti-white, most anti-straight, most anti-hetero, most anti-American campaign in order to pull people away from Trump. And that would be absolutely horrendous. Number one, as bad as Biden is in his current state, she is worse. But we'd only have her there for a couple months, and then hopefully she wouldn't win it anyway. And some of you may be asking, okay, well, who do they put in if not Joe Biden? If not, honestly, there is nobody. There's nobody to prop up. Because the one golden boy they had got beat up by a governor from Florida on national television.
Yeah, I remember that.
And anybody else who's actually been propped up doesn't want it. Like Big Mike doesn't want it.
Nope. Nope. And I love how conveniently the day after the debate, there came out an article about how the Bidens have had a long-standing feud with Michelle Obama has had a long-standing feud with the Bidens because she can't stand how they treated Hunter's ex-wife. So
whatever. I don't care.
This is fantastic. So we know how liberal Google and all that is, right? How
it's absolutely.
So let's see, because I just did this on mine. Let's see if this comes up on here, because this will be really interesting.
Well, you're not in Google.
It's still it's still Microsoft search. Okay. Boom! Look at the first thing that pops up there. Right here.
Oh, it's the second thing.
But
Yeah,
still,
Wikipedia
telling you what it is.
And that's the thing, because they've already put it up. It's already been talked about.
It's been talked about. It's already
there's all this. So we're looking at a web page, and it's basically
we're looking at a search. We're looking at a search. And
Web search.
Showing all
it's literally
the
you look up the 25th Amendment. It's
about.
Wikipedia, and then literally just nothing but Biden.
Now, so obviously Donald Trump won the debate.
Yes.
Honestly,
sure?
the bar was so yes. Shut up. The bar. See, here's the funny thing.
No lie. No lie.
No.
The
fact.
fly.
No, fact.
I'm gonna say this. To be honest, to be clear, the fly that planted itself on Mike Pence's head would have won that debate.
Yes. Okay. See, here's the thing. They set the bar so low that it was literally Biden's. Because even if all Biden did was come onto that stage and actually look semi-coherent, he walked.
That
good,
was a win.
It was a win. They set the bar so low.
Yeah.
But he somehow figured out how to do to go under that bar and do far worse. So Trump wins.
He brought a plastic bag on stage and managed to get his head stuck in it.
Yeah, right. Okay, so because Trump won, we get that. Okay, and Trump did well. I'm going to say that even I was impressed by what Trump was able to do in that one. And we all know how much I have my issues with Trump.
Yep.
That being said, that all happens in Saturday. Since Thursday, the Democrats have been imploding. Then we come to Monday. Monday. And that is when SCOTUS, they were actually supposed to be done Friday. But they said, nope, we're going to extend this one more day. We're coming back Monday. Because they wanted to talk about this Trump immunity. Presidential immunity thing with Trump. And I know what y'all are. Look, I don't like it either, but I like the way they worded it. But they didn't. It's not a full win for Trump. It's not a full win.
Well,
Because
what Trump said, and I'll be clear, what Trump said and the precedent that he wanted the Supreme Court to vote on and set is dangerous for every president for voting. Like, obviously, if Biden, for example, we know there's crime issues with the Bidens. Like, it's not unheard of thing.
Leave the dementia patient alone.
But you literally are talking about if let's just say there's some person who gets elected and there is some major criminal activity going on after they're out of office, they get elected, they do one term of presidency, they get voted out, and they're literally like running a mob syndicate using like taxpayer dollars and all kinds of government, like they're literally like bringing Colombian, cocaine over there, drug lords and all this stuff, and doing all kinds of horrible things to people in closed doors. And you find out about it, you literally go, well, I was a president, so you can't touch me.
Yeah,
that's what Trump was kind of saying.
Yeah,
that's too far. That's too far.
Came out 6-3 saying that yes, while in office, the president has immunity outside of treason. That is the only thing they can go for.
Right.
Okay, so he has presidential immunity across the board for anything done that is a presidential duty. He, however, because when you're president, you're not just president, you also are still the free individual citizen of this country and have, kind of like you clock out of work, you have your downtime. What you do on your downtime is not a presidential duty. That you do not have immunity on. So what does this mean? This means that now Jack Smith, or whatever his name is, Jack Wagon down in D.C., now he's got to restructure this lawsuit. I'm not saying it stops him from doing it, but now, and they were very clear in their writings that it is the states, on the state level, it is their responsibility to determine a set of guidelines for what is considered a presidential duty and what is not. Okay, it is not the court. It is not SCOTUS's. It is not the court's job to decide that. It is the individual state's job to decide that.
And not state, like, to be clear, not state like New Jersey state,
right? Because
the federal government is not a state.
No,
D.C. is not a state, to be clear, though they want it to be.
That's a district. Yeah. But anyway, so it is up to the House and the Senate to determine what is considered a presidential duty and what is not. So technically, by the guidelines of what they said in the SCOTUS thing, although Amy Coney Barrett, you're one of the three that dissented against this, you're nothing but a hypocrite and a liar, and honestly, you should be kicked off of the bench because you're exactly everything opposite of what you said you were when you were trying to get the position. So, but that's beside the point. Little Miss, I hate the First Amendment. But the last week of the SCOTUS stuff, but I'm sticking with the Trump stuff. What that means is that now, until they come up with the guidelines of what is a presidential duty and what is not, Jack Smith cannot do a lawsuit. So, who comes up with this stuff? Well, first, the House would. Well, they're already now going to be doing the 25th Amendment stuff with Joe Biden, so they're not going to rush to go do that part. And then it's got to be voted on by the Senate. And you know that the House and the Senate, well, they can't agree on anything as of late. So, at the very least, it's going to take 1.5 to 2 years for Jack Smith to be able to, because even after they do the guidelines now, when they deem certain things that he did that was not a presidential duty, now they have to go with intent, because they're going to go with what he put on an X and all the things he said on an X. And when you only have 200 characters, you say something really quick, and that's the end of it. And you need to be able to prove that because I was only kept to 200 characters, that in those 200 characters there's a special code that was inciting violence and insurrection, and they're not going to be able to do that either. No. So this should destroy this case immediately, which I'm shocked is even happening. Okay, because I thought that this was going to be the linchpin that got. I did not know how SCOTUS was going to go with this, and I was afraid that they would go. I like how they did it, because how they worded it, how they came to their opinion, and everything else was done right.
Well, and again, my concern was the overall immunity thing.
Same concern I had. Yeah. Okay, so what does this mean going forward? Yes, we still have to deal with, July 2nd, so in 9 days, Trump gets, his punishment for everything in New York.
For the brag?
Yeah.
No, they got pushed back to September.
Oh, it got pushed back to September now.
The sentencing side for the sentencing thing, it got pushed back to September. I saw that today.
I wonder why. I wonder why, because we're getting really close to November, and usually in September and October, that is usually when something usually pops up organically, like, the FBI letter that came out and said that Hillary Clinton shouldn't be president and all the crap that he said that letter did.
Well, we already know what the plan.
Okay, for Trump is. Yeah, I know what it is. It's so that they could try to house arrest him, and he can't do the final leg of the
well, he won't be able to do the final debate.
He won't be able to do the final debate, and he won't be able to do any. He won't be able to go out and do his his normal shtick with the people. So I'm sure I didn't catch that one. I thought it was still on the 11th, but I've been laughing over the last weekend of everything going on with everything else. So what does this mean, people? Number one, if you haven't seen that debate, please go do. Please be informed. Please, for the love of God.
For somebody who not hates politics, but somebody who is not as into politics as everybody else. I did watch the entire thing, and there wasn't one time where I was disinterested in it.
Because the whole time you're going, what is he going to say next?
Is he going to die?
Is he going to die? Make it his next sentence.
Yeah.
Ooh, what's he going to do?
Cliffhanger.
But the questions were good.
No,
coming
they were
from CNN.
Yeah.
It was. They
were the one question they were very hesitant to ask. They did not want to ask the economy question.
No, they did not.
All. But see, in 2020, CNN was the one that actually was it CNN or MSNBC that actually had the good debate. It was the left-leaning
Yeah, I think it was MSNBC.
Yeah.
had the good debate.
MSNBC.
Fox had a horrible debate. Everybody, like, it was all horrible.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the libtards can ask pretty good questions. They may not give good answers, but they can ask pretty good questions.
Well, like when they asked the economy question, I thought that was probably the most I thought that one was probably the best question that they asked because they knew
People are.
well no they knew well they know it's the
If they
leading
didn't ask
problem.
that question,
It would be
people
bad, right? It would have been very bad. They knew they had to ask that question
absolutely
because they
had to
had to. That is a major voting issue for everybody. But you also have literally what I thought was probably the. I'm not a Tapper fan. I'm not at all. I don't like any of this. I don't like any of the
can't
hosts.
stand
Any of the hosts. I thought it was like he's the most punchable face.
Yes.
But like I don't
Punch
care
your face.
much for Tapper, but he did something I was impressed that he
Oh,
did.
he went
When-
back because
he went because after he gave
answered
well
it
no
first.
Biden didn't answer. Trump did.
Oh, yeah.
Trump answered. Biden did not. So Biden had the layup first, and Biden got asked the question,
And he went
and he
all
basically went all over the place, and he said, "Well, Mr. President."
I asked you.
He
this.
said, well, no, he didn't say that. He said, it is 100% true that this is what the economy is currently at. Like, it isn't, like, you can't walk away from and there was another interview that they had, I think Tapper had with Biden, and it was prior to the debate, I think,
Yeah,
where
did the same
they were
thing.
talking about the economy, and he literally hit him, and he said, look, this is the inflation rate. Oh, it was the inflation rate question. It was asking about
Oh,
inflation.
yeah.
This wasn't in the, this was another interview.
debate?
No, it's just an interview. But he asked
interview.
him about the inflation rate, and Biden tried to argue the inflation rate hadn't moved much, and he's like, okay, but 8.4% is still the highest it's ever been in our history.
Yeah.
Like you're
Carter,
40
the
years.
worst- the
It's
worst
like it's
inflation
the
in
worst
the world was in
inflation rate
Carter,
is
and
40
we're
years.
way over that.
It's so bad.
That
It's
number,
crazy to
that
think
8
we're over
point,
Carter.
that 8.
Oh, Carter
no.
was the worst president. Not anymore.
Here's the thing.
Biden
What's
said,
funny
"Hold my
is-
That's
brew."
insane.
No, you want to hear what's funny? That 8.4% that everybody loves to use, that ain't even a real number.
Yeah, because it
'Cause
doesn't take into
changed
account the wages.
They changed the math. After Carter, they changed the math and how they figure out inflation percentage. If you use the old way that they figured it out back with Carter, we'd be up closer to 20.
Oh, I don't think it's that
No,
high.
even Crowder has said that one, and that's the thing.
I don't think
Crowder-
it was inflation. I think you got the wrong thing.
If they go back to the real numbers, because what they take out of it now is that they do not take into account home buying anymore in the math, and they don't take into account.
I don't think
wages.
inflation's what you're thinking of.
Yes, it's inflation, but mind, go back. Steve, and I have my issues sometimes with
A
Steve Crowder.
20%
We-
inflation rate is
Yes.
insane.
Yes, the real number. If we go by how they used to do it, it's 20%, close to 20%.
I don't know if that's true. I'm
Because
sorry.
it's-
I honestly don't think that's.
I'm telling you.
I don't have it in front of me, but I'm not even going to go there. But I think I think it's not inflation.
It is
I think it's something
inflation.
else
No,
that you're
it's
talking about.
absolutely inflation. Inflation. If they go back to the actual numbers that we've used.
No,
Oh,
you're way off.
what is it?
So, right now, currently, it's only 3.3% or 3.4%.
It's not.
It's not.
right.
It's
That's not
not. That's 3.4. It went up 3.4% per last year.
But I was looking during COVID times, 21 and 22. Comparatively, it's 7%.
That's what they said.
21,
It was
22.
it was 21 to I'm telling you, the real numbers all through COVID. That was the one thing because I even had to double check Steven Crowder on that one.
COVID was one of the lowest times.
During COVID, inflation went up, and all through COVID, Steven Crowder was saying that it was closer to 15 to 16% then because of the real number. The real number. If they went off of
crazy.
old numbers. If they went off with the old, if they accounted for everything they used to account for when they did inflation. What they did is they took out housing and they took out something else when figuring out inflation, and that's why they have lower numbers now.
Yeah, the highest number I see on here is 9.2% in 2022.
Yeah, that because now they also don't go with a rolling inflation. They just account for, oh yeah, our inflation is 3 point whatever over last year.
Who was in 2015?
2015. That's Obama.
Obama.
That's Obama. It's absolutely astronomical that if they use the real numbers, if they took into account everything that they're supposed to, the number is way higher. Way, way higher. And it's sick and gross on it. But guys, please, you have to go see this stuff. Do not. Our biggest thing that we've always been for, what is God, here's what's happening, here's what's going on, what does God have to say about it? What the biblical worldview? And through doing that, the whole reason for doing this podcast is to inform people, to give you the knowledge that you need. What you do with that knowledge is up to you. But if you don't have the knowledge, you are without excuse. It is so easy to get knowledge nowadays. Yeah. We are in a time period where because of FOICAs and all these other things, you can use any search engine out there, spend about 10 minutes doing a little dig, and you can find out any information you want about just about anybody, okay, or anything. You have no excuse if you do not go get the information. So I'm telling you, if you have not watched this debate, you need to watch it.
Yeah.
Okay, you will laugh, and then you will cry. Because as funny as it is,
it's sad.
It's sad because this is where we're at. And we have the president that we deserve. We are in a Romans 1 discipline. Like, God is punishing this country. Romans 1 punishment, whatever you want to call it. Okay. We have what we deserve at this point. There are people out there that we should want, the best we could have in positions in our government, the best that we could have. There are people out there who actually would be great that would be true men of righteousness, the way that this government was designed, to have men of righteousness and faith and seeking after God running this country. But we don't deserve them. We have been given up to what we want. God is allowing us to have the desires of our heart, and we have the people in office that we deserve.
Yep.
Facts.
Yep.
Period. And that includes Trump. As much as good as a lot of good things that Trump has done, and some bad things that I disagree that he's done, Trump is the president we deserve. He's not the president that we need. So you need to be informed. You need to see this. You need to be in prayer, not only for your state leaders, your municipal leaders, because the president can only cover so much. That's the federal government. The more important ones are the state and municipalities. You need to be in prayer for them. You need to be in prayer for your...
It wasn't inflation. It was interest rates.
No, it's inflation. I'm telling you. Go back to...
I'm looking at it. This is Carter, dude. I'm looking at Carter. It's interest rates flew up to 20%. Not inflation rate.
Again, I will do the research. I will go through, and I will go through... I will even pull out Crowder's, because you can get Crowder's stuff to look at it. Crowder said it on his podcast many, 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 many times. He was not talking about interest rates, because interest rates are not accounted for in the current way that they do inflation.
That's true.
Okay, if you add the inflation rates, or the interest rates, to the numbers that they have now, our inflation rate goes up to 20. Because interest rates are even higher than then.
Yeah, they are.
So if you take into account interest rates, our inflation is skyrockets far more. But they don't want that in there because they need the number to be smaller so it doesn't seem so bad. It's all a shell game, people. And this is where discernment, this is where knowing the will of God, this is where reading His Word and seeking after His Spirit, this is where we as a people in this country need to get back to. Look, the story gets worse. Okay, I've read the end of the chapter. But that doesn't mean you stop fighting. That doesn't mean you stop seeking. That doesn't mean that you just stop. And it seems like America has just stopped. You got churches that refuse to even preach the gospel. You've got Christians who hide in their pews and in their chairs inside the church and refuse to go out and tell people about Christ and fight against the evil things that Christ told us to fight against and to pray against and to preach against and everything else. We're afraid to do that. It's time to rise up, because literally the soul of every person in this country is on the balance. Don't mean to get preachy, but y'all need to hear it. It's time to wake up. It really doesn't matter what the president does or who the president is if the body of Christ is doing their job. If the body of Christ is leading the people the way that we're supposed to be, because the kingdom of heaven is here now, if we are doing our jobs, leading leading where things turn when it comes to the world and stuff in our communities. Doesn't matter what the president says. It doesn't matter what the House says. It doesn't matter what the Senate says, because we have control of our areas. It starts in the home, it goes into the church leadership, and then it goes into your municipal leadership and stuff. Christians need to step up and do their job. That includes me. That includes this man. Because even though he's doing a fantastic job with his preaching, which, by the way, go into the link tree and listen. We've been getting our PP smacked since January. Okay,
not the right terminology.
It is the right terminology.
Not the right terminology with a pastor to the people. Don't use that. That's
We've been getting our gluteus maximus kicked to the max.
What are you talking about? I don't have a gluteus maximus anymore. It fell off. He cut it off, and it's somewhere over there, and I lost it. It's hard to sit in chairs.
Now it's just glute.
Let's just not associate pastors to penises. Okay,
just do that.
Anyway,
just saying.
Go to our website. That is, as of this moment, still streamsoflifefellowship.com. It's in the link tree in the bio. Click it. Listen to his past sermons.
Thank you.
If it started January, not to say that his other ones before January weren't good, just started January and come till now. If you ain't heavy on your knees after every one of these sermons, then you're prideful and you need Jesus. Because I'm on the worship team.
Well, you're Delulu.
Yeah, like him. You're Delulu. Jesus Christ on a motorbike. You are Delulu. I love that guy. I love watching him. No, you seriously. We need to get right. We need to get real, and we need to get moving, carrying the gospel, and doing what needs to be done. Look, go to the link tree in bio. You can email us. If you have questions, look, if you have more questions about this, if there's more you want to talk about this, if there's something we missed, there's a topic that you would like us to talk about, we are not against getting outside suggestions for topics. Not to say that it's not easy to pull out topics. The way that this crazy world is, I can pull a topic on just about anything and be smacking some people around in the face with it and stuff. So it's not like it's all that hard. There's a lot to talk about, especially when it comes to the world and gospel and everything else. But if you have suggestions, if you have prayer requests, send them. We will pray. We will honestly do so. You can catch me on my Facebook is on there. Our Facebook group that we have is on there. You can come start a conversation in there. I'm on X. I'm on TikTok sometimes when I feel like it. Same thing with Clapper. Please reach out. Please, and let's talk about this. And most importantly, get your Bibles out. Read what God's Word actually says. Ask His Holy Spirit to tell you what you need to be doing. And just do it. Point of fact. And if everybody does their job, just do your job. Whatever God tells you to do. If all of us just do our job that God tells us to do, we can flip this country upside right. It's still going to get worse in the world, but we could change some things. We could play. We could start seeing revival in this country again. Maybe, just maybe. Hopefully, praying. Please, God, because we need it. Our kids need it. Our grandkids need it. If God shall tarry, and we need that. So, y'all, this was a good one. Enjoy the comedy of the debate, and Old Man Winters, and what he has to fumble mumble about. And I hope y'all have a very, very, very happy, very celebratory, and I'm gonna say this: safe 4th of July,
booms, pew pews, and woo woos.
But also, in our celebrating the Independence Day, remember we only have what we have. We only have this country because of God and what He did. So spend some time on your knees in prayer,
and because godly people will fight for it.
Yes, get on your knees, pray, shout from the rooftops, and worship over what God has done. Granted, we're imperfect. We have fallen big time as of late. But if we would just get down on our knees, humbly pray, and praise and worship our God the way that we're supposed to, the way the Bible describes that we are supposed to be doing, that alone, just that will start to bring change. And then as you're called out to do different things, that will bring even more change. So, y'all have a good one. Enjoy your Independence Day. and peace.
I can't help it, I just seem to see the world different. It ain't Republicans or liberals, it's mental illness. The internet is only interested in left opinions. Cancel culture's got more power lately than the First Amendment. If you don't like it, leave. We will not defund police. We don't want no riots in our neighborhoods or in the streets. We respect freedom of speech. We protect what we believe. We don't want nobody dead, so please do not tread on me. In America, there's freedom